Have you ever bought a book or CD from Amazon.com? If so, then you know that online you can check the status of your order, for example, whether it's been shipped or not, and you can also check the details of your past orders. But have you ever stopped to think why Amazon.com can be so successful at processing orders, managing inventory, and getting your order to you within a few days? Let's pretend we just ordered a book online from Amazon.com. Let's think about what's happening behind the scenes. First, they need to process your order and understand whether they have the inventory or not. If they don't have the inventory in stock, then they must order from their suppliers. Let's imagine, for this example, that they don't have the book in stock and that they need to place an order to their suppliers. In this case, they also need to check to make sure that the goods arrive on time to their warehouse. They also need to confirm the quality of the order, and they need to manage the payment of the goods. What I mean is that they need to pay the supplier. Then, they need to ship the book to you and pay the transport fees, and also need to ensure they can follow up if the book doesn't arrive on time. If the book doesn't arrive on time, or if there's any other problem, then they need to be able to manage the complaints from the customer, as the customer will surely contact them. They also need to pay the salaries of the employees who are doing all this work. As I'm sure you can imagine, there is a lot of information that Amazon.com must process and maintain if they want to make sure that you get the book you ordered on time. One of the keys to their success, and to many companies' success, is a good ERP software solution. What is ERP? ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It is a software package with a single database. In this database, it contains the necessary software modules for the business. In this example, what are some of the software modules needed for Amazon.com? Next slide, please. First, they need to do inventory management, order management, and deal with complaints from customers. These are all part of what is called supply chain management. They also need to pay their suppliers and process the payments of their customers, i.e., they need to process the money going out and coming into the company. This is a part of what is called financials. And finally, they need to pay the wages of their employees. And they also need to understand what days the employees are working, and what days the employees are taking off for sick leave, and what days the employees are on vacation. This is a part of what is called human resources. These are all examples of some of the typical software modules which make up an ERP solution. But what makes up the technical aspects of an ERP software solution? There are two things. One is the database, and the other is the business logic. First, the database. The database is a collection of data which is structured. Some of you may be familiar with Microsoft's Access. This is one example of a database. The second part of the ERP software solution is the business logic. This business logic is called best practices. These best practices are programmed into the software. These best practices are based on the software vendor's experience through working with many customers and understanding their business. For example, a simple example of best practices is saying that certain data must be entered together. For example, there must be a corresponding address to a name in order to go on to the next step in the ordering process. This is one example of a best practice. What this means is that if the user doesn't enter the address, then they can't go on to the next screen and they are not able to complete their order. I've spent some time talking about ERP solutions. Hopefully, next time you buy something, whether it's online or in a store, you remember our conversation today and you reflect on how your information is being used.